Okay, so can we hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Yes. I've been asking now, I've been talking since nobody is hearing me. What is happening? I'm in the meeting. Can you hear me? Yes. Second link. The second link. The second link? Yeah, you come, let me check. Because I'm already in one. Can you hear me from there? Can you hear me from there? Say, can you hear me from there? No. Because you need to let me in. There's someone needs to let you in. Because I'm already in the of the show. You need to verify us. Yeah, we are waiting. Okay. Good evening. Okay, this can we hear me? Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Leonard, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, but I can you hear me as well?
Okay, that's good. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, let me turn off the camera for saving data.
So I'm going to share my screen so that we look at what is going on.
Right.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Currently not, actually. It's white.
Sorry?
The screen is white. I can't see anything.
Are you using phone?
Pardon?
Leonard, are you using a phone?
No, I'm using what? I'm using with the laptop here. I'm using my laptop.
But
Screen
you are
Emmanuel.
supposed to see my. You are
The
supposed
screen
to see
is
my screen.
white. That I can see that you are sharing your screen, but actually the screen is white. There's a white screen.
Can you see some code now? It's black. I set my.
Yes.
Can you see the code on the screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because I like using the dark background because of light.
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So this class I have already had with one guy some weeks back. So I've treated a topic with him before. That was just on the basis of Python. So I'm just going to reflect on that topic, and then we proceed into something else. Okay, so I started with him with the introduction of Python. Abasiepon, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Okay. Evening to you. Sorry,
Good
we
evening.
have Abasiepon.
I'm with you.
We have other people that have joined the class, so you have to be time conscious now because others have joined. Otherwise, you meet us on the road. So I'm just going to reflect a little bit on what we've done so far so that we have everybody in the same boat. Okay, so I started with Python. I don't want to go into the history of Python. Basically, what we want to do is just entirely the coding aspect, not the theoretical, much things to do with the theory. So I started with variables in Python. And then variable in Python is defined as a memory location. It's just like if you have a container that is used to store maybe water, that container in Python is referred as the variable, whereas the water that it contains is called the data. So variables are used in Python to store data for references, maybe for future use or wherever it will be applied. So on that note, there are two types of variables. You have the local variable and you have the global variable. So the local variable are used within a block. It doesn't go out of a block, it's restricted. Whereas the global variable is used anywhere in your code. You can just reference it anywhere and then it will work for you. And then another thing you have to note about variable is the naming convention. The naming convention, how you name a variable in Python differs. So we have to follow the naming convention, otherwise it will return an error. So I'm just going to create a Python file here so that we can use it for the practical lessons, so that as we are talking, we are also writing some code at the same time. So if you've opened your Python, you also create a new file. So you have some files here by default in Python, so you can choose from which you want to create. So I want to create a Python file. So what you use to differentiate a Python file is that the extension is .py. So whenever you want to create a file and you want to create a Python file, you put .py at the end. So I'm going to click here, or I click this one. If I click here, there will be no need of putting .py because the system has already known it to be a Python file, but this one is file, so it can be any type of file. So if I use this, I'm going to put .py at the end to make it a Python file. You can put .js, that is JavaScript. You can put .html to make it an HTML file. So whatever file you want, use. So I'm going to just say here, maybe I will call this variables.py. So I will hit enter from my keyboard. Let me collapse this. Okay. So now, for instance, I say name equal to James. The word name here
is called a variable, whereas James is the data that is being stored in the variable name. I have something like place. Maybe I say place equal to Lagos. So I have two variables here, name and place. And then I also have two data assigned to these two variables. James is assigned to name, and then Lagos is assigned to place. So whenever you want to call Lagos anywhere in our code, we don't say Lagos again. We don't say James again, because we have assigned those data to variables. Instead, we call the name of the variable for it to be displayed, for it to come up. And then also, another thing we look at there is the naming convention. One of the naming convention in Python is that there must not be spaces between your variable. For instance, if your variable name is not a word, maybe it's of two words, you don't need to space them. Instead, you use underscore. For instance, you say your variable name is supposed to be, let's say, name of school. You don't do this. See now, Python has underlined it red, meaning it's an error. So Python doesn't accept this kind of naming convention. So what you have to do in this case is you use underscore wherever you want to put the space. I don't know if you are understanding.
Yes.
It's all right.
Okay, so you put underscore instead of leaving spaces between the name, the variable names. Python will give you an error. Then another one is that you don't start a variable name with a number. You don't start a variable name with an integer. This, you don't do something like this. Python will still give you an error because you are starting with a number. Or you can put a number in between letters. You can do something like this, maybe name 1 or 2 of school. You can do something like this. You can put integers in between letters, but you cannot start it with an integer with a number. Okay, another naming convention we need to look at is that you don't put hyphen between your variables. For instance, you say name of place. This is not acceptable. You don't use hyphen, don't use this dash. Instead, you use this other one called the underscore. We use this. So you replace this with an underscore, and then the red line will disappear. Okay. So that's what we need to know about naming convention in Python. So if you don't follow those things, Python will execute an error for you when you try to run your code. Okay, moving forward from that, this quotation mark we are seeing here, in Python, it is called string. It's called string, S-T-R-I-N-G. That's the name of it. You don't call it quotation mark in Python, so you call it string. So you have single string, you have double string, and then you have triple string, double string, and then we have triple string. So these are the strings in Python, single, double, and triple. So whichever you use is okay. But one thing you have to note is that whenever you use single string, you have to close it with single string also. If you use double string, you have to close with double string as well. If you use triple string, you have to also close it with triple string. Otherwise, there will be an error. So whatever string you use to open your variable, you always close it with the same string to avoid any kind of error. Okay. So this, and then another thing we look at there is there are things we call keywords. Keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are Python words that have predefined meaning. There are words in Python that the meaning is already defined to the Python interpreter, such that whenever you type such a word in your Python environment, the interpreter will understand what you want to do. You don't even need to give extra command. The interpreter knows what to do in as much as you are using those words. So that's on words. There are some words you will type in Python, you see the word will turn to green, to turn to orange color, to turn to some colors like that, meaning that word has a meaning to Python. So it's to execute a particular function. For instance, you say input. Input, this is a keyword in Python. Print. This is also a keyword in Python. You have if, is also a keyword. You see that one has changed to orange color. You have else. This is also a keyword in Python. And then there are so many other ones which we are going to see as we proceed in this lesson. But for now, we are going to use basically of these two, the input and the print. These are the two we are going to use as we are starting. As we go down, we are going to see more of them. So now, an input or print, just as the word implies, input, it is a keyword that is used in Python to accept data from the user. Whenever you want to ask a question, a user a question, who is using your app, and then you want the person to provide input, you use the word, the keyword input, and then you use the keyword print when you want to display the result, the final result of whatever you are doing for people to see. Okay, just like this, the name here, this is a constant variable because the data has been declared. This is also a constant variable because the data has been declared. But there are situations that you can ask someone, what is your name? That is not a constant variable because anybody can type anything. But this particular one has been declared already. So in a situation where you'll be asking someone, what is your name? You now use the input keyword so that different people can type in their different names, not being a particular name there. Okay, now, so let's see how let's write a program that will display. Okay, another thing we look at in Python is comment, because sometimes I didn't mention it when I was having the class with the other person, but I think just reflect on the comment. Sometimes there are some lines of code you don't want it to appear in your result. You don't want it to be effective. So at times you render some lines of code ineffective. You don't want them again to take part in your coding. So what you do in Python, you comment them. Just place an hash sign here at the beginning. Shift 3. You see now, that line of code is no longer active. So whatever I will write in my code now, when I run once I execute this code, this line will not be involved because I have rendered it inactive. I have commented on it, so it will not be effective in the code again. So if I want to comment this one, I just place the hash sign. It's gone. I want to comment this, I just place the hash sign. Then what if you have written code that runs up to thousands of lines? Will you be doing that one by one per line? No. What you have to do is you just highlight everything, Control A, and then you press Control /. You have Control / in your keyboard. That's where you have the question mark according to my own keyboard here. You have a / there. So once you highlight and you press Control /, it will comment out all the code you have highlighted. If you want to uncomment, you still press the same thing, Control / and the comment is all off. Are we there together? Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, now, so let's write, I've removed that. Let us write a simple program that will display programming is fun. A simple program that will display programming is fun. So I'm going to start by declaring my variable. Can say fun, I can call it anything. Then I say here, programming is fun. Then I say print. What will I print now? I'm going to print fun. Remember I said, since I want to write a program that says programming is fun, and I have declared a variable here that stores programming is fun. Here now, I'm not going to type this again because I have already stored the whole of this somewhere in fun. So I'm just going to say print fun, and it will print out whatever is being stored in it. So I'm going to run this code now. If you want to run your code, you right click inside your file now. I'll right click and then run variable. This variable is the name here, this name. So run variable, I will run my code and wait for the output. Okay, this is the console, this is the terminal now. It has displayed programming is fun. And whenever you run your code and it finish up with this, process finish with exit code 0 means your program has executed without an error. If you see 1, means there is an error in the code. And you see some red lines here. So that code has run successfully. And also, I can also write this same code in this way. If I don't want to declare a variable, I can also make it in this form. Have you seen that? Then I run the code, it will still give me the same thing. This one I've not declared a variable, I just put it direct in the print statement. For the first one, I declared a variable and then I printed out the variable. Okay, so one thing I failed to mention there is that whatever you see inside this bracket is called arguments. So the print statement has some arguments inside. The input also has its own arguments. So whenever you see the bracket means at times there are things that are meant to be inside, and those things that are inside in Python are referred to as arguments. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 3. Okay, now, so what is this? This is constant. What if we want to make it to be varies, not to be constant? That is where we now use the input statements. And mind you, whatever you put in a string when you are printing it, when you are displaying it for people to see, it will come out exactly the same way it is in the string. Even though you make a mistake here, an error here, you type something mistakenly, once you print it out, the error will come out exactly the same way it is. So whatever you put in a string will always come out exactly the same way it is in the string. So if I run this code again, I'm going to have all those stuff I have typed in there. So whatever is in the string comes out exactly the same way it is in that string. Okay, please, if you have any question, please endeavor to post me and ask. So this is a constant variable now, but I want it to
I have a question.
value.
Excuse me.
Okay.
So fun equals programming is fun. The statement there is a string, or is it wrong like this? Is it a string? Fun equals programming is fun.
This is the programming is fun is a string.
All right.
This is a string. This is the variable name fun.
Thanks.
It's okay. And then, so now, since this is a constant variable, if you run this code 200 times, the same thing will come out because the data has been declared already. But we want to make it to be varied so that different things can be imputed. So in that case, we now say input. Input. Remember, I said that there are some that the input has some arguments that it has inside. So you can now say input. I said I want to make this descriptive. I've said enter enter your which. Okay. So now, remember I said whatever you put in a string comes out the same way it is in the string. So now I want this to print. Or let me remove this first. Let me remove this so that I could use that to explain something after this now. So I run this code. It's going to blink a cursor down here. You see now, this is where it's asking me to type. Maybe if I put anything here, I can say programming is fun. Then I hit enter in my keyboard, it will print that out. See, it has printed this out. If I run the code again, maybe I enter something else. Why are you here? I hit enter on my keyboard, it printed out what I have typed. And then, but if you look at this doesn't make sense because you just see the cursor blinking. You don't know what to type. This is according to programming. This is not user friendly. So whenever you write code, you try to make it user friendly so that it will not require too much teaching of the people before they will be able to use whatever we have developed. So we make it to be user friendly. Try to include some statements that will guide the user on how to use your app or whatever is being developed. So that is where we will now include an argument inside here in a string so as to guide the person on what to do. So I will now write this. I will now say, maybe I can say, what do you do? What do you do? So if I run this code now, instead of the cursor just blinking here, it will display what do you do? And then someone will at least understand what is the next point of action, what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to write in there. So we run this. Okay, so we have what do you do? At least this one now has given someone a clue on what is being required. Or you can say, what is your name? Then you run the code again. Okay, so we have this. What is your name? So it has given someone a clue. Someone can just say, my name is John. Another person can say, my name is James, and the program printed it out. Are we getting that? I believe you are there with me.
Yes, we are there.
Okay, so another thing we look at is casting. Call it casting. Or let's finish with this string. Let's say name. Let's change this place to name. And then we change here to name as well. Let's say birthday. Year. Okay, so here we say print year. So if you run this code now, it's going to execute for this. You enter this, and then it will print out the two results at once. So what is your name? Let's say Grace. What is your birth year? Maybe 2025. And then it printed this out. Okay, now we can use one print statement for both. You see, in this case, we are using two. I've used two, but you can use one for both of them. So that process is called concatenation. When you are adding two things together, when you add two things in Python, it's referred to as concatenation. So instead of using these print statements here, I will put it inside here with a comma and then say, but yeah. So it will print both of them on the same line instead of different lines. So we say John. Okay, so that is concatenation. And there are two signs for concatenation. It's either you use the plus sign, use this comma sign, or use the plus sign. Whichever sign you want to use is okay, but the result differs. So just take note of these results, and you also note the difference between the result you are going to get from this other one. Okay, let me say Peter, and then here, you see, have we noted any difference?
Yes.
Okay, so the difference there is that when you use comma, there will be space between the strings. But if you use plus, it will join everything together without space. So that is the two signs used for concatenation in Python. And there is also what we call string formatting. String formatting. Whenever you want to format a string, you start with if. That I want to use one print statement and to display both of them, I will format it with if. Then I open this. I open a string. Either I can use single string, I can use double string, I can use triple string. Whichever one you want to use, you can use it. And when you are doing string formatting and you want to print a variable, you use this bracket, this brace bracket. You put your variable inside, name. Name. This one, you don't need a comma. you don't need to put a comma, you just paste, and then you put this other one again. This one, you don't need that comma because you are doing string formatting. You are using string formatting. But if you don't use this string format, you need to put the comma to separate them. So if I run this, say this, okay, and that is that over there. Okay, and then the next one we look at is called casting. Casting. In Python, if you enter, let's say you enter anything you type, any variable you declare in Python, Python takes it as a letter. Even when you say p equal to 9, Python sees it as a letter, not a number, until you have to convert it, you have to cast it, you change it to integer. That's when Python sees it as a number. The essence of conversion is sometimes in programming, you do calculation. So you cannot use letters to calculate. So whenever your program aims at calculating a particular thing, you have to do conversion. You convert your variable into an integer, not using a string. So in this case, we are going to look at a simple program that will assess the age of a person, or let's say the age of a student. A program that will ask for the age of the student and also display the age of the student with its favorite colors. Okay, so we can simply say age equal to integer. This int, because I'm dealing with age, so age cannot be a number. That's why I put int. Sorry, age cannot be a letter. That's why I put int. Int here is telling us this is whatever you have to type here must be a number. If you enter a letter, the program will return an error. So I have converted it from being string into an integer. That is the casting. Just the int has converted it. Then I can say best color. Then this one, you see base color, I've not included int. That is because color doesn't have to deal with number. Even when we are entering color code, the color code must still be strings, not integer. So from here, I can say print base color, print age. So with this, I run this code. Say enter age, maybe 23. Base color, let's say green. So it printed 23 green. And also, the same way we make the input to be user-friendly, let's also make our output to be user-friendly, because someone is just seeing 23 and green. He doesn't know what they mean. It doesn't make any sense. So we can make this to be user-friendly by using one print statement. Can say print and say print okay, let us add name here so that it will make a little sense. Okay, so now here you can say print name is name is 8 years old and is best color is okay. At least when we display this, it's going to bring a kind of statement that will be understood by people. So we run the code, age, let's say this, yellow, John. See the output now. Output is John is 34 years old and his best color is yellow. At least this is descriptive. So if someone sees it, you'll be able to understand what is going on. So you can see where I have used the concatenation here. And remember, I said that whatever you put in a string, this is a string, will come out the same way it is. That's why you have it here. The same thing here, the same thing here. And this place, I'm not supposed even to use this because this is a string, this is a string, so I can put them in one string. So I will have to remove this comma and this one, and also remove this. Since this is double, I have to close it with double here. And then to still produce the same thing. That is using the concatenation pattern.
All right.
That is using the concatenation pattern. So let me also use the string formatting pattern. The string format. So I say print. Remember, string formatting starts with F, then you open the string. So I can say the first one is name is okay. That is also using the string method. Okay. So in the string formatting, you don't use comma. Instead, you use the brackets for the variable names. So I run this, and then let's see the output for both. Okay, you see both of them as displayed the same thing. So whichever one is okay, you can always use it. Do you have a challenge there?
No, I'm just thinking when is the case for what?
Sorry?
For when should I decide which string I should use or which yes.
Yeah, there is no specific rules on when you should use it. Anyone you are familiar with, anyone you can best apply. So all of them works and produce the same results. So there's no specific rules guiding when to use and when not to.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, with that, so we are just going to jump into the operators so that we can look at some things. Okay, there is another thing under the string we could look at. For instance, you find out that this name, or maybe we'll look at it when we get to list. Okay, we talked about data type. Data type, let me comment this. Data type There are data types in Python. Data type simply means the nature, the attributes that a particular variable has, the way a data is declared. For instance, I've just mentioned integer here. That is a data type in Python. So we have integer, you have float. So integers, these are whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So these are all whole numbers. You have floats. Floats are numbers with decimal point, 1 point. You have 0 0.8, 1 point something, minus 1, 2.0. Any number that has a decimal point in Python is called float. And then we have the boolean. This one is true or false. When something is true or false in Python, we call it boolean. And then we have the string. This one are the alphabet, the letters, the alphanumerics, or anything inside a quote. Anything inside a quote, be it a single quote, a double quote, or a triple quote, even when it is a number, even when you have a number like this in a quote, this is a string. This is an alphabet for Python. So you cannot use this number here to do calculation because Python sees it as letters and not numbers. Okay, so data type now will tell you the kind of data you are working with. How do you check for the data type that you are using? For instance, if you have, let's say, number 1 equal to 3, number 2 equal to 2.6, position present equal to true. Let's say place equal to just. So you want to check the data type, want to check the types of data you have here. So you can simply say print type number. So you say print type for number. You want to check the data type of this number here. So once you say print type, this type here is used in checking the data type. So you can run this code. You see now, see the class integer, meaning this is a number. That's an integer. So let's check for number 2, the same thing. Number 2, this is a float. See the class here is a float. Then let's check for present equal to true. This is a boolean. Sorry, I will put present here. That's a boolean. And then let's check for place. A string. Even when I change here to 1, to letter, I mean to numbers, it's still going to give me string because whatever is inside the quotation, Python sees it to be a string. That is a number. So let's write a simple program that will calculate, that will accept 3 numbers, then find the the product and the sum, product, sum, and average of those numbers. A program to accept three numbers and then find the product, sum, and average of those numbers. Okay, so let's say number one, num_1 equal to integer. Remember always to cast your number whenever you are calculating. You say enter the first number, enter the second number, number 3, enter the third number. So now the first one is sum. So addition, I want to declare their formula. And addition equal to num1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. Then product will equal to this. And then average equal to addition over 3. That is the summation of everything divided by 3. So I will now say print average is print the sum is okay. So I'm going to run this. Number 1, I put this. Number 2, I put this. Number 3, I put this. So the sum is this, the product is this, and the average is this. You can also use one print statement to print the three of them, however you want to, or you choose to use it. It's fine. It will still return the same answer. Are we getting that? Are you with me?
Yes. Yeah, we're getting it.
Okay. So with that, I think we are good to proceed. We are good to go on. So one thing you have to note in Python is that the default data type in Python is string. And then this, I think I've not mentioned this. You can, okay. You can also declare your variable in this pattern. You can declare your variable like this: a, b, c equal to 1, 2, 3. You can use one line to declare 3 variables. This A is for 1, B is for 2, and C is for 3. So one thing you need to note here is that if you have 3 variables here, then your data here also must be 3. Otherwise, you encounter an error. So you can also print this, can print ABC using one print statement also. Okay, so operators. In Python, we have about 7 operators, but we are just going to consider the one that is we are going to apply in what we are doing. We have arithmetic operators, which is what we've just done here: the addition, the subtraction, multiplication. We have arithmetic, we have augmented operator, augmented. or you call it assignment operators. We have the comparison operators, we have membership operators, logic operators, identity operators, and we have the bitwise operators. When we get to logic operators, that's when the real programming will start. That is where you now apply some logic, some thinking, some decision-making process will be applied. Okay, so having made mention of this, that means we have talked about the arithmetic operators. But one thing I want you to note in Python is that there is what we call modulo. Modulo, yeah. That is the remainder of a number. When you want to get the remainder of a number in Python, you use the percentage sign. That is modulo. For instance, if you have if you are asked to find if 10 divided by 3, what will be the remainder? If you divide 10 by 3, what will you get as the remainder? That should be 1, right? So let's say we have A to B, 10 divided by 3. A equal to 10 divided by 3. Okay, use modulo here. Then you say print A. Tina is giving us 1. So modulo always return the remainder of a fraction. Whenever you divide two numbers together and you want only the remainder, use the percentage sign, and it's called modulo in Python. Good. And if you want to raise a number to power, that is exponential in Python, use 2 asterisks. For instance, you have 3 raised to power 2. When you use 2 asterisks, you have raised it to power. That is exponential 3, exponential 2. You run this code and it's going to give you 9. You can raise it to power of whatever number you want, in as much as you are using 2 asterisks there. But if you use 1, this is multiplication. This is multiplication. And then there is also what we call floor division. Floor division. For instance, remember when we have 10 divided by 10 modulo 3, it returns 1. It returns only the remainder without showing you the whole number. But now you want the whole number. When you divide 10 by 3, to use double forward slash. If you run this now, it's going to return only the whole number without considering the fraction. See, it returns 3, as if 3 is the only answer. No, but it returns only the whole number in a division. That is called floor division. Floor, F-L-O-O-R. Okay.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I have a question. You said Python is recognizing numbers as letters unless you're writing integer, you know, int. So in this case, it's different. Why is it like this?
Okay, because there are 2 numbers involved, and then we are using a mathematics sign here. This is for calculation. So once there are 2 numbers involved, Python will see them as numbers, as integers.
Okay.
And then the last thing we are going to look at here is called precedence, because our time is already gone. Precedence. Precedence has, remember when we were in our math class, they told us something like BODMAS, bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So that is the order you solve your mathematics if they involve multiple signs. If there are more than one sign, maybe you have plus, you have division, you have multiplication, you have division again. So you have to follow the order in if you want to get the correct result. So let's just see an example. And then precedence has to do with you using a bracket to order your system to work the way you want. For instance, you have x equal to 2 plus 3 times 10 minus 3, and y equal to the same thing, 2 plus 3 times 10. Okay, you see now this one is with bracket. This one is without bracket. These brackets are called precedence. You have given your system the order now. You are telling your system, add this one first, and multiply the result. But this one, you have not ordered it. So the system will do it according to its own, not following your order, your command. So precedence is very important whenever you are dealing with calculation. You tell the system where to follow and what to do. So if you say print x and print y, you are going to see even when the numbers and the signs are the same, but the results will differ. You see, we have 35 and 29 because we have not ordered it. So which one is correct based on what you want to do? So you instruct the system, you tell the system, do it like this or the other way around. That is when you have multiple signs. If the signs are not the same, you have plus here, you have times, you have minus. So these are multiple signs in one particular equation. So you use the precedence to order it, let it follow the right pattern. Okay, so aside from that, we call it a break. We stop there if there is no question.
Thank you for the course of today.
You are welcome.
Yeah, thank you. This is good.
All right.
Getting programming.
Yeah.
Okay, next time, sir. Right.
Okay, on Friday.
Okay. Same
right.
time?
Yes.
Okay.
I was here one.
All right, sir. Thank you for the class.
It's okay.
All right.
I will see you on Friday then.
No problem. Same time, ba?
Yes. I was here fun. Hello. Abbas.